The light ends where the last hearth glow fades against the dark, a line no one has drawn, but everyone can feel. Beyond it, the fields blur into shapes that could be anything: a hedge, a hollow, a man crouched low. The wind moves through bare branches and says nothing, and that says everything. Out there, the dark does not announce itself. It waits, patient as frost, for the fires to burn low and the voices to go quiet. In a village of the late 10th century, this boundary is not a wall, it's a question, asked every single night about who is watching and who is not. Someone always answers that question. Call him whoever holds the watch, not a lord, not a hero, just a man whose turn it is tonight, wrapped in a wool cloak against the damp, standing near the low bank and ditch that mark the edge of the settlement. In his hand is a horn, worn smooth at the mouthpiece from years of other hands before his. It is a plain thing, made from the horn of cattle, hollowed and shaped, and it is the loudest voice this village owns. He does not blow it, unless he means it. Most nights, it stays silent at his hip, a threat held in reserve. Around him, the ditch and bank, the humble earthwork that rings so many settlements of this age, rise just enough to slow a running man, to turn a quick raid into a clumsy one. It is not much. It does not need to be much. It only needs to buy time, because time is what the horn is for. The watchman's task tonight is not exciting. It is repetitive, deliberate, almost boring by design. Walk the boundary, pause, listen, walk again. He knows the ordinary sounds of his own village the way he knows his own breathing, the shift of livestock in their pen, the settle of thatch, the creak of a gate on its hinge. Anything outside that pattern earns his attention. The silence itself seems to lean in around him, thick and listening, as though the night itself is testing whether he'll notice what doesn't belong. This is the whole of his job, not to fight, not yet, but to notice. Noticing early is not caution, it's the entire defense. Pull back from him now, because he is only one piece of a wider, quieter machine. No single man protects a village after dark. It takes a rotation, a rhythm the whole community keeps without needing to be told twice. Watch duty passes from household to household, night to night, so that no one man carries the weight alone, and no one man grows too tired to notice what matters. This sharing of the burden is itself a kind of defense. A village that trusts its neighbors to take their turn is a village that sleeps at all. Fatigue is the real enemy some nights, more than any raider ever is. A watch badly kept is worse than no watch, because it breeds false confidence, and false confidence is not safety, it's the absence of it, wearing safety's clothes. Here is the plain truth of how these communities actually caught danger before it arrived, and it has little to do with heroics and everything to do with animals. Geese, famously restless and quick to complain, will raise a racket at anything unfamiliar moving near a farmstead, a habit useful enough that it becomes an unspoken part of the defensive layout. Dogs serve the same purpose more directly, their barking a second alarm layered atop the human one, and a good farm dog is worth more some nights than any weapon in the house. Even cattle and sheep, ordinarily indifferent creatures, grow restless at the scent or sound of a stranger, shifting and lowing in a way a farmer learns to read like a sentence. None of this is folklore. It is observation, passed down through generations of people who lived close enough to their animals to know their moods, and who understood that a village's herd was also, in its own way, a warning system. That is how they actually knew, Not through magic, not through luck, but through decades of paying close attention to the creatures already living beside them. Beyond the animals and the rotating watch, there is the land itself, shaped deliberately to slow an intruder down. The bank and ditch are the most common tool, but not the only one. A paled fence, a thorn hedge laid thick and deliberately unwelcoming, a gate that must be lifted rather than simply pushed. None of these stop a determined attacker outright. They are not meant to. Their purpose is to convert speed into noise, to turn a silent approach into a stumbling, cursing, twig-snapping one, because noise is what the watch is listening for. In this sense, the defenses of a village are not separate systems, but one continuous idea, repeated in different materials: animal, earth, wood, human ear, all tuned to the same task of turning the dark from silent to loud. Some villages, particularly those nearer the coasts and river mouths most exposed to raiding through this period, rely on a longer chain still, a beacon system, a hill fire meant to be seen from the next hill and the next, carrying word of danger faster than any single rider could. It is a crude form of communication, but an effective one, turning a whole stretch of country into a single set of eyes. A fire lit on high ground is not decoration, it's a message, sent at the speed of sight, warning neighbours who may never meet the man who lit it. Even where no beacon chain exists, the same instinct holds. Danger, once spotted, must travel faster than the danger itself. And still, some nights, the wind carries a sound that fits no pattern the watchman knows. A snap of a branch, too heavy for any fox. A shape at the tree line that might be a bush, or might not be. He goes still. His hand finds the horn without deciding to. Is it nothing? Or is it everything? That is the question every watchman eventually has to answer alone, in the space of a few held breaths, with no one to ask, and no time to be wrong twice. Most nights, it is nothing. A badger, a low branch, the shape his own tired eyes invented. But the watch is kept precisely because most nights are not every night, and the cost of one missed warning is not measured in inconvenience. Tonight, whatever moved beyond the ditch settles back into the ordinary dark and does not return. The watchman lowers his hand from the horn slowly, the way a man lowers a held breath. He does not know, and will likely never know, whether he watched a fox or a threat that thought better of it. That uncertainty is simply part of the work, carried quietly, night after night, by whoever holds the watch. As the sky greys toward morning, he walks the boundary one last time, past the same ditch, the same gate, the same worn horn now returning to its resting place at his hip, unused, but no less essential for that. Inside the bank, the village stirs awake, unaware of how close it came, or didn't, to needing him. Smoke rises again from hearths that never really went cold. Animals are let out to graze. The rotation shifts to the next household, the next set of tired eyes, the next quiet turn at the edge of the light. No one man's story matters here more than another's. The watchman tonight, the one last night, the one tomorrow, are all the same figure wearing different faces, standing in for a whole community that survives by sharing a burden none of them could carry alone. This was never a place with a fixed hero standing permanent guard. It's a village of ordinary people trusting each other, in rotation, to notice what the dark might be hiding. The horn returns to its silence. The bank and ditch hold their quiet shape against the morning light, and the boundary, tested again and held again, waits, unremarkable, for the next dusk to arrive and ask the same question all over again. In the end, what kept these villages alive after dark was not a wall, not a weapon, and not luck. It was vigilance, shared out night by night among neighbours who trusted one another to take their turn. The plain, unglamorous, and entirely real machinery of survival.